Một chủ đề cực kỳ khó đó là chủ đề về musical instruments nhé. Chúng sẽ có 4 câu hỏi cần phải giải quyết và mình sẽ để 4 câu hỏi ở trên màn hình. Let's get started. Question number one. Have you ever learned to play a musical instrument? Well, yes. When I was small, I briefly learned to play the guitar, but I didn't stick with it for very long because after a while, I realized that I was not musically inclined. So it would be a waste of time if I spend too much time on it, right? When I was around 5, my parents took me to an art center where I was exposed to a variety of musical instruments such as electric organs or the guitar, that sort of thing. But most of the time, I were just messing around. And after 2 weeks, my parents had to come to terms that I was not musically inclined, and they didn't make me to play it anymore. Yes, I play the guitar. I first knew about this instruments about 7 years ago when I saw my cousin playing, and when he let me try it, I immediately got hooked, and I have been playing it since then. Question number two. Question number two. What musical instruments do you enjoy listening to the most? Sample one. Well, to be honest, I am a big fan of music, but when it comes to musical instruments, they all sound the same to me. I mean, sometimes I really love to listen to the mellow and soothing piano sound, but in other cases, I would love to hear something more dramatic, like the drums or electric guitars. So it really depends on my mood. Number two, well, I have always been captivated by the beautiful sound of the piano. I mean, I really love its versatility. It could be mellow and soothing, but at the same time, it could be dramatic and very intricate. I don't know how to put it into words, but the piano just resonates with me better than any other musical instruments. Sample three, well, I am a big fan of rap and rock music. So, as you can guess, my go-to type of musical instrument would be something more dramatic and upbeat, such as electric guitars or the drums. Question number three. Do you think children should learn to play a musical instrument at school? Sample one. Absolutely, yes. I mean, learning to play a musical instrument is really beneficial for children. It not only fosters creativity, but also help them to learn discipline and patience. And I think that learning to play a musical instrument such as the guitar or piano can help students to become a well-rounded individual. Example two, it's a good idea, I guess, because learning instruments has been scientifically proved to bring a wide range of benefits to children in terms of emotional and intellectual development. I don't think that it should be compulsory because while it would appeal to children who are artistically inclined, it would be not necessarily the case when it comes to other children. I think that children should have the freedom to choose whether they should learn it or not. Question four. Do you think music education is important to children? Yes, I think it can be. I mean, we all know that music in general has many benefits to children in terms of their cognitive and emotional development, right? But I believe that children can only truly benefit from music education if it is something that they are passionate about rather than something that is forced upon them. Speaking part one topic languages. Question number one. What languages can you speak? Number one, well, I can speak Vietnamese because it is my mother tongue. I am quite fluent in English and I can also speak a bit Korean, but just basic phrases and expressions that I pick up from movies. Number two, well, I can speak Vietnamese and English. One is my first language, and the other is a language that I have been learning for the past 10 years. I'm learning Chinese too, but I'm just at the beginner's level. Sample three, well, I may say that I can only speak Vietnamese, which is my native language. I have been learning English for quite a while now, but I would not say that I am totally comfortable using it. I mean, it's still a long way to go for me. Question number two, how do you learn a foreign language? Simple one. Well, I started learning English in secondary school because it was a compulsory subject back in the day. And I have to say that formal education lays a solid foundation in terms of grammar and vocabulary for me. But obviously, it's not enough. I also learn a lot through English movies and music. Number two, although English is taught as a compulsory subject at school, I don't think I can learn much from that. I improve my ability mostly through movies and music and shows in English. And this is also the case when I learn other languages such as Korean or Chinese. Question number three, how is foreign language taught in your school? Simple one. Well, it's quite traditional. I mean, we learn a lot of grammars and vocabularies, and this knowledge is then reinforced through kind of traditional multiple choice questions, which I find rather boring, and chances to speak the language are really few and far between. Number two, well, I'm fortunate to learn at a school where the emphasis is placed not only on grammar and vocabularies, but also on other practical skills. We have three classes a week with native teachers. We also have to make a lot of presentations in English, and these activities are really useful in improving my proficiency. Question number four, what languages do you want to learn in the future? Number one is definitely Korean. I'm just a big fan of Korean TV shows and movies, so I want to be able to watch everything without subtitles. Also, I love the way Korean people use their body language and facial expressions when speaking. It's so adorable. Number two, well, I think it is Chinese. I mean, China is one of the most thriving economies in the world right now, so proficiency in this language can improve my job prospects in the future. On top of that, Chinese has some similarities with Vietnamese in some aspects, so I guess it would be less of a challenge to learn this language compared to, let's say, Spanish or Thai. Question number five, what kinds of difficulties would you have when you learn a new language? Number one, well, to me, the biggest challenge would be the chance for immersion in the language. I mean, when we do not live in a place where that language is spoken, we do not really feel compelled to speak it on a daily basis, right? I know that these days everything is available on the internet. I mean, we can talk with native speakers on many online platforms, or we can have easy access to all authentic materials that we need, right? But it's not practical in a sense that we cannot just glue our eyes to the screen all day long, right? Number two, well, I guess it is grammar. I mean, from the way I learned English, I realized that I'm pretty good at imitating the sound and, speaking skills, but somehow I cannot just wrap my head around all the grammatical rules. So I think that it will be the same whatever language I learn. Number three, I guess it is maintaining motivation. I mean, acquiring a new language definitely takes years of practice, and it is especially challenging in the very first stage where people get to know a new language and try to create a new habit. So it is easy for them to give up during this period. Speaking part one, topic music. Question number one, do you like music? Simple one. Definitely yes. Music is an indispensable part of my life, and I listen to music whenever I can. I mean, when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I want to stay focused, or when I want to put myself up. I just cannot imagine my life without music. Number two, definitely yes. Music is part of me, and I listen to all sorts of music as long as I can resonate with the lyrics. And I feel like music can heal every wound, and it has helped me through the darkest time of my life. Number three, yes, and my go-to type is something that is slow and calm. Turning on some music is a great way to start a day or to unwind after a stressful day at work. Question number two, what kind of music is there in Vietnam? Well, we have everything that you can think of, from traditional music to more contemporary genres such as pop, indie music, or rap, you name it. Question number three, what types of music would you listen to when you are alone? Number one, it really depends on my mood at that time. For example, if I'm alone because I feel down, I will listen to some sad songs. It may sound a little bit counterintuitive, but it works like a charm in lifting my mood every time. But if I'm on my own just because I want to relax, I will listen to some chill out music. Well, sample two, most of the time I would turn on some Taylor Swift music. I mean, it doesn't matter if it is a sad song or an upbeat song, her music can somehow resonate with me so well. I can always find myself in Taylor's songs, and listen to her singing can really heal my soul. Sample three is rock music. Some people may say that it is loud and annoying, but to me, it is the greatest stress reliever ever. Shouting the lyrics at the top of my lung can somehow help me vent all of the anger I had earlier in the day. Question four, how do you think music will appear in the future? Well, to be honest, I have no idea. I mean, I am a listener and a music lover, not an expert in this field to predict the future of music. But I guess there would be more genres available to people, and technology will definitely play a great part in the way we listen to and access music. Question number five, do you think that older and younger generations prefer different types of music? For the most part, yes. I mean, music evolves over time, so it is understandable that people born in different time periods relate to different genres. For example, the elderly and the middle aged people in Vietnam who lived through many wars may have a stronger connection to war music compared to young generations who were born and raised in peacetime. Number six, is there any concert that you want to go to? Simple one. Well, if money is not really a concern, I would love to go to Adele's concert once in my life. I mean, I have been her diehard fan for nearly 5 years, and I've watched hundreds of the videos of her concert where people sing along to her heartbreaking songs, and the atmosphere is just incredible. I wish I could be there, immersing myself in good music with like minded people. Summer is definitely Taylor's. I mean, I have watched thousands of her videos on the internet, so it would be really great if one day I can see her in the flesh dancing to her songs with thousands of other fans. It gives me goosebumps just to think about it. Speaking about one topic number. Question number one, are you good at math? Simple one, actually, no, I'm quite Greek at this subject. I don't know why. Maybe my brain is not programmed to learn math and it just automatically shuts down when I try to solve a math problem. And at school, I just try to pass the subject. Simple two, I would not call myself like mathematically inclined, but I think that I'm pretty good at this subject, especially when it comes to algebra. And getting a 9 in math tests and exams is a breeze for me. Trong câu trả lời vừa rồi chúng ta sẽ có từ algebra có nghĩa là môn số học và các bạn có thể đổi từ này sang từ geometry tức là hình học nhé. Sample 3, well, just so. I mean, I have no trouble using very basic formulas to get a 6 or a 7 in exams. But when it comes to more complicated problems, I would never go out of my way trying to solve them because I know for sure that they are way beyond my level of knowledge. Question two, do you feel math is important to your life right now? Sample one, well, although I do not particularly enjoy learning this subject, I think that there's a good reason why math is a compulsory subject from primary school to high school. I need a lot of knowledge from math in my daily life, from calculating when going shopping to more complex financial matters like budgeting. Sample two, it really depends on what kind of math we are talking about. I mean, advanced math that I learned in high school definitely has no place in my life, but more basic stuff in algebra or geometry is really useful in many aspects of my life, from going shopping to interior design, and the list goes on. Question number three, what is your favorite number? Number one, actually, I have never given it so much thought. I mean, whenever I have to choose a lucky number for, let's say, games, I would just go for anything that pops into my head at that moment, which is different every time. It can mean two, it can mean nine. So it's really hard for me to give like a specific number right now. Number three, I do not really care about this, but I guess if I have to pick just one number right now, it would be my birthday. I mean, it marks the day I came to the world, so I believe that it could give me some luck. Number three, it is six. I don't want to sound superstitious, but it is a lucky number in Vietnam. And indeed, whenever I choose six for any games of chance, I get really lucky. Number four, do you usually use numbers? Definitely, yes. Like numbers are present in pretty much every aspect of my life. Now I think about it. I mean, we have to use passwords to our phones and to our door, and we have phone numbers, and the list goes on. Number five, are you good at remembering phone numbers? Simple one, yeah, I used to be. I mean, when I was around 5 or 6, cell phones were not really popular in my village, so memorizing phone numbers was a must then, and I was pretty good at that. But now, with our phone being with us all the time, I feel no need to do so. I just remember several phone numbers of the most important people in my life, but just that. Number two, well, I may say no. I mean, my entire life, I have relied on my phone to keep track of phone numbers, and I have never actually tried to memorize them at all. So I do not know if I'm good at it or not. Speaking part one topic, teamwork. Question number one, do you like teamwork? Simple one, well, I am not much of a team player. I mean, I often too shy to raise my voice when I do not see eye to eye with others, but I just cannot accept it when things do not go my way. So I often find myself in such a dilemma when I'm in a team. So if possible, I just want to work on my own. Number two, yes, I do. I mean, there are so many benefits associated with working in a team. For example, you have more creative ideas, the responsibilities will be shared, which means a great weight off your shoulders. And if anything goes wrong, for example, if you fall sick, there would be someone else picking up the slack, and the list goes on. Sample three, yes, but only when I get to pick my teams. I mean, the ones I know for sure would be hardworking, punctual, and responsible. Otherwise, I would end up doing everything by myself. Sample four. Well, most of the time, I prefer to work on my own. I mean, I do not deal with conflicts very well, which is often the case in a teamwork. And I also think that is quite time consuming. And, to me, the best part about working solo is that no one would blame you or criticize you if anything goes wrong. Question two, have you ever worked with others in a team? Sample one, yes, actually, we have quite a number of group work assignments at school, but luckily we get to choose our teammates most of the time, so everything goes quite smoothly for me. Number two, well, a lot actually. I mean, we have so many group projects at university. Sometimes it's just a short and simple presentation, and sometimes it is like in-depth research. And I get to work with different people every time, which is really fun and exciting. I mean, and even when sometimes I have to team up with very terrible people, I can still learn something from that. Simple three. Yes, a lot actually. I mean, no matter what field you are working in, even when you are a freelancer, your work would involve collaboration with others to a certain extent. And as I work in the marketing field, there's so much group work and discussion going on every day. Question number four, are you currently working in a group? Sample one, yes, we are currently working on a science project at school, and luckily my teammates and I are on the same wavelength, which makes everything flow just effortlessly. Sample two, yes, I'm working on a new product with other colleagues in my department, but unfortunately, we don't seem to have clicked yet. So, to be honest, I am quite discouraged these days. Question five, what do you learn from working in a team? Sample one, well, let me think about it. I mean, although I do not get to work with my dream team all the times, I think that I can always learn something from the experience. Sometimes it is a creative idea from a teammate or how to settle conflicts and find a common ground. And sometimes I even learn how to do everything on my own to get work done when other members choose to sit on the sidelines. Number two, well, as I said earlier, most of the time I do not have the luck of working with great teammates. I often find myself stuck with some free riders who didn't lift a finger but still wanted to take credit. But over the time, I learned how to deal with that. I mean, I managed my emotions so that it would not affect the quality of the work, and I often consider it as a chance to develop more skills for myself. tục với series 4 thì chúng ta sẽ có một bài mô tả nơi trốn. Ở series trước thì chúng ta đã mô tả về một thác nước và ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ sử dụng đề đó để mô tả tiếp đề sau đây. Đó là describe a place where you have taken photos more than once. Actually, I have been to many places where I have taken hundreds of photos, but among them, the most impressive destination may be a place called Thác Nàng Tiên or the Fairy Waterfall in English. I first knew about it 2 years ago when I was looking for a place to spend my summer vacation. What caught my attention back then was not only the unspoiled beauty of the waterfall, but also the fact that it was not really well known to the public due to its difficult terrain. It was indeed challenging. I mean, we had to drive on bumpy dirt roads when hiking through a forest and then climb 100 of steps before we could reach the waterfall. But everything was worth it because the scenery there was spectacular. There was a cascade of water flowing from tier to tier, surrounded by lush forest. The mist from the waterfall made it look like a fairyland, and only then did I understand how it got the name. But you know what? The best part about this place is we could take a lot of photos without anyone getting in our frame, and the pictures were perfect without any editing at all. And as a matter of fact, I have returned to this place several times with different groups of friends, and all of them fell in love with this waterfall at first sight. Although my phone is already filled with photos of this waterfall, I think that I would definitely come back to this place in the future. Speaking part 2 topic describe a place you would like to learn the culture there. Bởi vì đề bài này người ta gợi ý là chúng ta có thể mô tả bảo tàng, thư viện hoặc là một cái giảp hát nào đó thì mình sẽ mô tả một cái bảo tàng nhé và cái bảo tàng này nó rất là dễ với mọi người thôi. Đó là bảo tàng thế giới cà phê ở Đắk Lắk do Trung Nguyên xây dựng. Hãy cùng xem sample của mình như thế nào nhé. Well, this topic is a bit beyond my knowledge because I do not visit libraries, museums or theaters very often. I guess the only museum that could piqued my interest and curiosity a bit is the World Coffee Museum. I first knew about it through a very famous reality show called 2 Days, 1 Night. This show takes the cast and also the viewers to different parts of Vietnam where they would learn the culture and the history. One episode features Đắk Lắk, a province in the central highland regions well known for the coffee products. One destination the cast visited is the World Coffee Museum built by Trung Nguyên Legend Group, a business dedicated to coffee production and distribution. The first thing that impressed me was the building's unique design, which is inspired by the traditional longhouse of the Ede ethnic group in Đắk Lắk. The exterior wall of the building was also made of a very special stone, which I do not remember the name, giving it a look like no others. And from the name, we can tell that it is all about coffee, and the museum houses thousands of coffee related artifacts from all over the world, such as a manual coffee grinder dating back hundreds of years ago. I'm so proud after hearing all of these things because finally, Vietnam has an architecture of the global scale. I'm so curious about what else is on display there and what are the interesting stories behind each item. So, if I ever have a chance to visit Dalat, I would definitely pay a visit to this museum. Ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ nối những đề liên quan đến past events, những sự kiện trong quá khứ và mình sẽ nối những đề sau đây. Describe a challenge you faced that was difficult. Describe something you did in your work or study that made you feel confident. Describe a prize you have received. Đầu tiên thì với đề về challenge và đề những cái thứ bạn làm ở nơi làm việc hoặc là học tập khiến bạn tự hào thì chúng ta có thể sử dụng cùng một sample luôn. Các bạn không phải sửa cái gì hết. Và sample của mình ngày hôm nay nó sẽ như sau nhé. I'm going to talk about a small project that I took part in several months ago. Actually, it was just like a small contest in an extra class that I joined. Back then, we were assigned to random groups, each of which was responsible for a presentation about learning English. I volunteered to take care of the content and the PowerPoint slides because I was not so confident with my English pronunciation. On top of that, whenever I have to speak in front of a group of people, I would be so anxious that my voice becomes shaky and my hands sweat a lot. I mean, fear is written all over my face. So, coming back to the project, everything went quite smoothly until 2 days before the presentation day. The members that were supposed to give the presentation was severely ill. I have no choice but to take over the task of doing the presentation because I was the one who understood the project the most. And because we didn't have so much time left, I had to spend a lot of time practicing at home. I still remember speaking in front of the mirror for hours on end a day to make sure that I remember everything and that I would not look too tense. Luckily, I made it through the presentation without cracking under pressure. And beyond my expectation, we came in second, and our group was complimented on our logical development of ideas and clear speech. After that day, I realized that my organizational skills are stronger than I thought. And although there's still a lot of room for improvement when it comes to presentation skills, I can be proud of my clear speech. I was really grateful for that opportunity. Với những bạn đã đi làm rồi thì các bạn có thể thay cái việc là mình thuyết trình ở trong một cái lớp học tiếng Anh thành là thuyết trình một cái dự án tiếng Anh cho khách hàng chẳng hạn. Bây giờ đến đề số 2 nhé, đó là mô tả một giải thưởng mà bạn đã nhận được. Thì với đề này mình sẽ có hai sample, một sample cho các bạn học sinh và một sample cho những bạn đã đi làm rồi nha mọi người. Sample 1. So I'm going to talk about the time I won the second prize in a small contest in the English class. Actually, it was more of a group work, but to motivate people, my teacher said that she would award the winning teams with a cash prize. And indeed, we were more excited and we got down to work immediately. I volunteered to take care of the content and the PowerPoint slides because I was not really confident with my English pronunciation. I thought it doesn't sound really fancy, so I was afraid that I would be laughed at if I was in charge of the presentation. On top of that, when I'm too worried, which is often the case when I have to speak in front of a crowd, I couldn't hide it. I mean, I would become shaky and I would sweat a lot. Fear would be basically written all over my face. But unfortunately, 2 days before the presentation day, the member who was supposed to do the presentation was seriously ill. I have no choice but to take over the task because I was the one who understood the project the most. So, terrified as I was, I thought to myself, I cannot let my member down. So I spent a lot of time practicing at home. Luckily, I made it through the presentation without cracking under pressure. We even got the second prize. To others, it may not sound like a big deal, but to me, it was a turning point when I started to feel more confident about myself. Sample tiếp theo cũng là về một giải thưởng và lần này mình sẽ dành sample này cho những bạn đã đi làm nhé. I'm going to talk about a time I won the second prize in an internal competition in my company. Actually, that contest is held annually, encouraging departments to present ideas that could improve the business operation. However, back then I was quite new to the company, so I thought that only senior members would take part in. But all of a sudden, the head of department asked me to join the team. He said that the competition is not all about winning, so I can feel relaxed and consider it as a chance to get to know people and improve my skills. My teammates were the best performing employees of the department, so needless to say, I was under a lot of pressure. But as I said earlier, I was a newcomer to the company who knows little about the structure. So I was just responsible for the presentation part, and other members would be responsible for the content. You may think that it was good news to me, but actually it wasn't. On the contrary, it was a disaster because public speaking has always been my worst nightmare. If I have to speak in front of let's say just more than 10 people, I would tremble and sweat and my voice would become so shaky. I mean, fear is written all over my face. But at that point, I couldn't chicken out, so I had to try my best so that I would not let other people down. You know what? I still remember spending hours on end a day practicing the content and also try to control my facial expressions so that I would not look too stressed. Luckily, I made it through the presentation without cracking under pressure. And beyond my expectation, we won the second prize. And looking back, it was a precious opportunity for me to step out of my comfort zone.